What's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last night they played a game against the Bucks on ESPN, national televised game, and they lost that game. And I want to talk about the Timberwolves because I've been thinking about this for a while. I've said this about the Timberwolves in the past couple of videos before, but I think it really kind of showed in last night's game, and I really want to talk about it here in today's video. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Link to my Twitter is in the description down below. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So last night the Timberwolves were playing the Bucks, and the Timberwolves lost this game 112 to 107. They had a pretty rough third quarter. Lost the third quarter 36 to 13. They did have an inspiring fourth quarter comeback, led by their defense. Cat, Anthony Edwards hitting some shots, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't stop fouling Giannis. And Giannis, shout out to him, he was hitting clutch free throws. Giannis was 14 for 21 from the free throw line, but he made them when it mattered most in the fourth quarter, and the Timberwolves ended up losing this game at home. And it's not really a big deal at the end of the day, to be honest. Of course, it's a big game because the Bucks are a really good team. Timberwolves are a good team at home, obviously. It's not really a big deal, to be honest. But it's just something that I've seen watching this Minnesota Timberwolves team play this year. And it's something I feel like maybe kind of is a problem. Well, is a problem and could scare a little bit when it comes to playoff time. Is that I don't really love their offense late in games. Usually, especially at this point in the NBA, a lot of teams' late game offense is basically give the ball to the best player and let them work. OKC is all right, let Shea do his thing. All right, let Jason Tatum do his thing. Let Giannis do his thing. But then also you have a little bit of variety. OKC doesn't just close with Shea. Sometimes they use Shea as kind of a decoy, and Jalen Williams does his thing. Sometimes for Boston, it's the threes, it's Tatum and Brown carrying them home, or Derek White hitting a big shot. For the Bucks, you have Giannis, but then you also have Dame. It feels like every team kind of has a similar kind of offense in the fourth quarter, but they have their own little wrinkle on it and effective ways of doing it. For Minnesota, when I watch their late second half, fourth quarter offense, it's not great to me. I feel like they really take the give it to your star player and let them work, but they do it to a level where it's it's too much. I feel like last night watching the Wolves play, watching the Bucks game, I feel like in the fourth quarter, the last couple minutes, their entire offense was built around Anthony Edwards and Anthony Towns touch the ball, and one of those guys have to do something. Cat took a couple shots. Cat, there was one possession, I forgot what exactly it was, but he took a catch-and-shoot three contested late, where it was he didn't really need to take that shot. Anthony Edwards, most of his shots were just give me the ball, and he just pulled a three, which he made a couple of them back-to-back. That was really nice because Anthony Edwards could do that. But I don't know. It's not just this game, but it's the past couple games. There was games against OKC a while ago that they lost in the fourth quarter because their offense in the fourth quarter kind of sputtered out because it kind of becomes predictable at the end of the day. It kind of becomes, all right, they're going to give the ball. Anthony Edwards is getting the ball, and if it's not Anthony Edwards, Anthony Towns is getting the ball. And so we just have to wait for them. That's what their kind of offense is in the fourth quarter and stuff. And it just looks very kind of stagnant and very kind of I don't love it a lot. I don't like it watching it. Because they have a lot of other capable offensive players. Obviously, Mike Conley is in there. When Mike Conley's in there, he's a dude that, veteran point guard, high IQ. He knows how to get easy buckets to players. And I'm surprised they don't really go to the easy Rudy Gobert buckets. They do for a lot of the game. The Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert. Mike Conley just throw it up to Rudy, let him dunk it. I don't know why that's not their offense late. They have Jaden McDaniels, who hasn't had a great year offensively. He's been in and out of the lineup a lot, but he's capable. Guys like Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson closed out the game yesterday for Minnesota because he's, can do that. He's a very high IQ guy, makes a lot of winning plays. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been good this year. You brought Monte Morris in, you got Naz Reid. You have a lot of capable offensive players, but it feels like their offense late in the game is just, all right, Anthony Edwards or Anthony Towns take the ball, take it home. And that's not a problem because obviously, again, a lot of teams do it for their fourth quarter offense. A lot of teams give the ball to their best player and let them work. But the way the Timberwolves do it is just very odd to me. I feel like watching it. It's not a lot of movement. There's no I feel like there's no other secondary folds or anything like that to it. Okay, well, OKC, because I watch a lot of OKC games, it's all right, Shea's got the ball, but then also you can get Jalen Williams to kind of do his thing. Or Lou Dort hits a big shot, but Jalen Williams also has the ball in his hands a lot more. You know, when it's the Bucks, it's like, all right, Giannis has the ball in his hands a lot, but then also it's like, all right, Damian Lillard can kind of take over, and they can have little folds here and there and get Brook Lopez easy threes, or they have Chris Middleton that can, you know, get a bucket here and there. Like, I feel like a lot of teams have their own secondary folds to where it's like, all right, it's not the star player. Sacramento, you have De'Aaron Fox, of course, being really clutch, taking home, but then you also have Domantas Sabonis that can find guys like Keegan Murray and stuff like that, and they still run plays a little bit and stuff like that. But for Minnesota, it kind of doesn't seem like that. You know, it kind of seems like it's all right, Anthony Edwards has the ball, everybody stand on the other side and let him work. Or Karl Towns has the ball, all right, everybody stand in the corner, stand on the side, and watch him. It feels like it's that. It feels like there's not a lot of movement. It's not like really set things. It's just like, all right, give our two best players the ball, and let's see what happens. You know? Like, I feel like they have to add something more. And that honestly kind of worries me for late when it gets to playoff time. You know, when it gets to playoff time, they've already had a couple games where they could have won, but they didn't win because their fourth quarter or their second half offense kind of, you know, tanked a little bit, and their offense kind of got a little stagnant at some points. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the only the really big issue I have with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because other than that, I really like the Timberwolves team. I mean, obviously their defense is the best in the league. Their defense is elite. You got Rudy probably gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. Anthony Edwards is locked in defensively. Karl Towns even looks better defensively. Like, they're defensively, they're gonna win games and hang in just because their defense is so great that they're gonna be able. That's how they've gotten so far. Their defense is great, and they have capable offensive players. Anthony Edwards obviously has been taking a jump this year. Karl Towns has been very good this season after having a rough start. Recently, he's been good. Rudy Gobert looks a lot more comfortable. They're kind of figuring out the Towns Gobert pairing well. You know, Mike Conley, of course, is a high IQ veteran point guard that's going to get everybody involved. You know, the bench is something that's very surprisingly good. Alexander Walker has come in and brought a role, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. That's been good. Kyle Anderson makes winning plays. Naz Reid has been one of the better backup bigs and maybe the best backup big man in the NBA. They picked up Monte Morris. I feel like was a great pickup for them. Like, they have a lot of good things going to Minnesota. It's just I don't like the stagnant offense late in games. You know, that's the thing that in the playoffs is definitely going to be kind of looked at as something that they need to do. And that's even something that happened the year before last year. You know, when they weren't even this good. You know, before they had Rudy Gobert. Back in the Grizzlies series a couple years ago, where honestly, the Timberwolves should have won that series against the Grizzlies, but then they blew a lot of games. Didn't they have a game where they blew like a 20-something point lead in the second half, and Chris Finch didn't call timeout and all that stuff? Like, it's been a thing for the Timberwolves past couple years, and this year it's been brought to a light because of how great they are, the number one in the West. You know, and when it gets to playoff time, you kind of can't have those stagnant, sputtered offense because now you're in the playoffs, man. These are the best of the best. It's not like you're playing against the Nets or anything like that where that happens, but you still have so much the talented team that you can win. This is the playoffs now. You're gonna have to do that against LeBron and AD, the Lakers, or against the Kings with Fox and Sabonis, or against the Mavericks with Luka and Kyrie. Like, you're not gonna be able to have just sputtered offense or stagnant offense late in games. You know, because now you're playing the best of the best competition. It's the playoff time. Even you could play right now. Season were to end, they would play KD and Book and the Suns. You know, like, imagine having a sputtered offense against the Suns with KD and Booker in the playoffs. You know, of course, the Suns, again, have not been a good fourth quarter team this year. But still, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a lot of room for failure if you can't figure out their late game offense. You know, because defense can only hold you for so long against some of the best, especially in the playoffs against some of the best teams. You're going to have to score. You're going to have to hit some big shots and make some big plays. And if you can't do that, then you're going home, unfortunately. And Minnesota being the number one seed, you know, it's gonna be a challenge if they can't figure it out. It's gonna be definitely be a challenge. But I'm not saying this to say like they're not a good team or anything like that. Obviously, they're still a really good team. I still really like this team a lot. Their defense, again, is still elite, that they're going to be good and still win games because their defense is so elite. It's just that problem of late game offense really kind of is one problem that I had watching this Minnesota Timberwolves team where I'm like, dang, that could be maybe exposed when we get to playoff time and stuff like that. But again, that's a couple months away. They still have time to figure it out. They're still going to be a top seed in the Western Conference. They're still going to be a really good team you have to face against. But it's just that problem right there really shows sometimes. And I'm really interested to see if they can figure it out or not. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.